Listen to me, because this is not a coincidence that you are hearing these words right now. You are standing at the edge of something powerful. You are standing at the doorway of divine restoration. God is about to restore what you've lost. What the enemy stole from you, what time seemed to take away, what pain tried to bury, God is about to bring it back with greater power, deeper meaning, and stronger glory than before. You may think your story is over, but God is saying, I am not finished yet. Every tear, every disappointment, every closed door was not the end. It was preparation for a restoration that will leave you speechless. There are moments in life when we look around and see only ashes. The dreams that once burned brightly have turned to dust. The relationships we cherished have fallen apart. The confidence we once carried has been shaken. But hear me, God is not intimidated by ashes. God creates from ashes. God takes the ruins of your life and builds something magnificent. He takes what looks broken beyond repair and breathes His power into it until it shines brighter than before. You see, what you call loss, God calls transition. What you call the end, God calls the beginning. There is no such a thing as permanent loss in the hands of God, only divine exchange. Some of you have cried in secret. You have looked at the things you lost and wondered, will I ever rise again? Will I ever feel whole again? You have walked through silent nights questioning where God went. But I tell you now, God never left. He was watching when others turned their backs. He was present when you were betrayed. He was there when you felt invisible, when you felt forgotten. God saw your pain, and now He is moving to restore. When God restores, He doesn't return what was lost in the same form. It comes back better, greater, transformed. When God restores, He multiplies. When God restores, He exceeds the expectation. The same God who brought light out of darkness is now bringing beauty out of your brokenness. You might have thought that loss meant defeat, but sometimes God allows things to fall apart so that He can rebuild your life on stronger foundations. Some relationships had to end so your heart could learn the depth of His love. Some opportunities had to vanish so your faith could grow beyond what you see. Some dreams had to die so new ones could be born. What you lost was not a punishment, it was a setup. God was not subtracting, He was making space. You cannot receive what is coming if your hands are still holding what was. God is saying, let go of yesterday. I am about to give you something that will make you forget the pain of your past. You see, when God restores, He restores with intention. He doesn't just replace things, He renews them. Think about it. The barren land becomes a garden again. The dry bones rise and breathe again. The empty heart finds peace again. The weary soul sings again. That is restoration. God is not just giving you what you had, He is giving you what you were always meant to have. The delay has not denied you, it has refined you. You have been through the fire, but the fire didn't consume you, it purified you. You walked through storms, but those storms taught you strength. And now you are ready to receive what is rightfully yours. Some of you are saying, but I've lost too much. I've made too many mistakes. No, my friend, nothing is too far gone for God. The same power that created the universe is the same power that can rebuild your life. Do not measure your future by your failures. God can take your greatest pain and turn it into your greatest testimony. God can take your broken heart and make it the birthplace of your greatest purpose. Every loss you've experienced is a seed, and when God breathes upon it, it becomes a harvest. You may have lost the time, opportunities, friendships, or even yourself, but when God restores, He restores in ways that will make you say, now I understand why I had to go through that. Restoration is not just about what you will receive, it's about who you are becoming. Through loss, God molds your character. Through waiting, God strengthens your faith. Through pain, God deepens your wisdom. You see, God is more interested in your transformation than your comfort. That's why sometimes He allows certain things to leave, because if they stayed, you would have settled. You would have stopped growing. You would have missed the higher level He prepared for you. So don't curse the loss. Bless it, because that loss became the soil where God planted your new beginning. The time is coming, yes, the time is near, when you will look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Every delay, every heartbreak, every closed door was a divine step toward your destiny. God was not ignoring your prayers. He was aligning your path. God was not withholding. He was preparing. He was preparing a restoration that requires maturity, faith, and surrender. He was shaping you to handle what's coming, because restoration is not for the weak, it is for those who endure. And you have endured. You have survived nights that tried to destroy you. You have walked through battles that could have broken you. Yet here you are still standing, still breathing, still believing. That means your restoration is near. Let me tell you this. When God begins to restore, it happens suddenly. It happens in ways that no human can explain. You will wake up one morning and everything will start to shift. The doors that were once shut will begin to open. The people who overlooked you will start to notice you. The peace that you thought was gone forever will flood your heart again. That is how God works, quietly, powerfully, unexpectedly. He restores when it seems impossible. He restores when all hope is gone. Because He wants you to know it was never man, it was always Him. You may feel like your life has been reduced to fragments, but God specializes in taking fragments and making masterpieces. Look around. What seems broken beyond repair is not beyond His reach. God can turn a mistake into a miracle. He can turn a setback into a setup. He can turn rejection into redirection. The same God who spoke life into nothingness can speak restoration into your situation. The same God who created seasons has ordained a new season for you. You are stepping into a season of recovery, a season of renewal, a season where everything you lost will return multiplied. This is why you cannot give up now. You cannot let your current pain convince you that your story is over. You cannot let temporary loss blind you from eternal purpose. God has already written the next chapter, and it is filled with restoration. You are closer than you think. You are standing in the doorway of a turnaround. God is about to surprise you. The tears you cried in private are about to become testimonies in public. What you lost in one season will be returned in the next with a greater value. God is about to prove that your pain was not in vain. There is something sacred about waiting. Waiting breaks pride. Waiting builds trust. Waiting teaches dependence. And it is often in waiting that restoration is born. God never forgets those who wait in faith. When you thought nothing was happening, God was working behind the scenes. He was rearranging circumstances, preparing hearts, and setting the stage for your comeback. You are not waiting in vain. You are waiting for divine timing. When that timing arrives, nothing can stop it. No opposition can block it. No enemy can delay it. God's word will not return empty. What He promised, He will perform. And when it happens, you will understand why you had to lose certain things. Some people had to leave so you could walk lighter. Some doors had to close so better ones could open. Some seasons had to end so a new one could begin. It all had to happen for your growth, your protection, and your purpose. So stop mourning what's gone. Start expecting what's coming. Because what's coming will not compare to what you lost. What's coming will heal what was broken. What's coming will make you thank God for every delay. God is not just restoring material things. He is restoring your inner world, your peace, your confidence, your fire, your joy. He is restoring your strength, your clarity, your focus. Some of you have been walking around weary and drained, but God is breathing new life into your spirit. He is reviving your soul. You will feel alive again. You will laugh again. You will dream again. You will believe again. Because when God restores, He doesn't just touch your circumstances. He transforms your spirit. You will no longer live from the pain of the past, but from the promise of the future. It's time to lift your head. Stop rehearsing what you lost and start rejoicing for what's coming. Stop asking why and start declaring what? Declare that restoration is on its way. Declare that God is moving in your favor. Declare that what was stolen will be returned sevenfold. Your words have power. And when your faith aligns with God's promise, restoration begins to manifest. Speak life where there was loss. Speak hope where there was despair. Speak victory where there was defeat. Because your declaration sets the atmosphere for your transformation. Do not compare your journey with others. Your restoration will not look like theirs. God's plan for you is unique, and your path is sacred. You may feel behind, but you are right on time. You may feel overlooked, but God has been preparing something tailor-made for you. Others may not understand the process, but they will witness the result. They will see what God can do with a surrendered heart. And when they see your restoration, they will know it could only have been God. You are about to step into days of divine reversal. The pain will be replaced with peace. The loss will be replaced with abundance. The sorrow will be replaced with joy. God is turning the page. You are moving from loss to restoration, from waiting to winning, from brokenness to blessing. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You have been refined, strengthened, and prepared. Now you are ready to receive what has been waiting for you. Your life is about to become evidence of God's faithfulness. People will look at you and see what restoration looks like. They will see what endurance looks like. They will see what divine timing looks like. And you will no longer speak from pain, you will speak from victory. Every scar will tell a story of how God never abandoned you. Every healed wound will testify of His power to restore. You will be living proof that no loss is final when God is involved. There is a divine pattern to restoration, one that cannot be rushed, manipulated, or explained through human reasoning. When God restores, He does it with precision. He knows exactly when to send the right people, open the right doors, and release the right blessings. And sometimes before He restores what you lost, He restores you. He rebuilds your faith. He strengthens your heart. He clears your vision. Because what good is receiving restoration if the person receiving it is still broken? God is too wise to give you something that would crush you. So before He brings back what was lost, He brings you back into alignment. He restores your strength, your identity, your faith, your purpose. You have to understand this truth. When God takes something away, He is not robbing you, He is refining you. There are blessings that cannot live in the same space as all the burdens. There are victories that require the removal of what once felt safe. God does not restore you to where you were. He restores you to where you were meant to be. He restores you forward, not backward. This is why what is coming will not look like what you had. It will be better, purer, stronger, more suited to your destiny. What you lost may have looked like a treasure, but God saw the weight it carried, the distractions it held, and the limits it imposed. He removes what hinders to make space for what fulfills. The process of loss is painful, but loss often becomes the birthplace of a revelation. When you lose what you depended on, you discover what truly sustained you. When you lose what you thought you needed, you realize that all you ever needed was God. Restoration is not simply about getting things back. It is about coming to know God as your ultimate source. The people may change, the places may change, the resources may change, but God remains the constant. And when He restores, He reminds you that He alone holds your life in His hands. There are moments when God will let everything around you fall apart so that your dependence will shift entirely toward Him. You see, you cannot be restored to the fullness of destiny while clinging to things that once defined your worth. God had to remove them so He could reveal who you really are, His creation, His chosen vessel, His reflection. When you start seeing your life through that divine lens, you stop mourning over closed chapters. You begin to say, if God allowed it, then something greater is on the way. And that, my friend, is the beginning of a peace. Every loss carries a hidden instruction from God. There is a lesson encoded within every heartbreak, every delay, every disappointment. God does not waste the pain. He does not allow wounds without weaving purpose through them. What hurt you the most will one day become the very testimony that heals someone else. That is the divine law of restoration. What once broke you becomes what builds others. God turns pain into power. He turns weakness into wisdom. And as He restores you, He will make your life a beacon for those still trapped in despair. Sometimes God will strip away what you built, not to destroy you, but to show you that your foundation was too shallow. He will allow certain structures to collapse because He wants to build something eternal within you. If He did not allow the shaking, you would have settled in comfort, not in purpose. But when everything falls, you are forced to look upward. You are forced to remember that your help never came from people, it came from God. And when you realize this, you stop chasing after what left and start preparing for what's coming. Because once you know the source, restoration becomes inevitable. You see, God never forgets what belongs to you. Time may pass, seasons may shift, but what is yours will find its way back by divine command. Even if the enemy tries to delay it, God will accelerate it. Even if others try to claim it, God will protect it. And when the right time comes, you will receive not just what you lost, but what you grew through losing it. That is divine interest. God never returns things in the same measure. He multiplies them. He returns peace for pain, wisdom for confusion, abundance for emptiness. You will not only be restored, you will be elevated. Think of this truth. When a seed falls into the ground, it looks like it has been buried, but in reality, it has been planted. You thought you were buried by loss, but you were planted for growth. And when God restores, He does not pull you out the same. He raised you higher. What looked like the end was only the beginning of a deeper process. You were not buried to die, you were buried to rise. That is why God says, do not mourn the soil, wait for the bloom. The soil may feel heavy now, but underneath it, life is stirring, purpose is growing, and restoration is on the way. God restores through unexpected means. He may use people you least expect, situations that seem impossible, or seasons that appear barren. But remember, God works best in the impossible. When everything seems dead, that is when His power is most visible. The greater the loss, the greater the miracle of restoration. So do not despise where you are right now. Do not despise the silence, the emptiness, or the waiting. Every moment is a divine preparation. Every delay is a sign that something divine is being perfected behind the scenes. There are people watching you, thinking it's over for you. They have written you off because of what you lost. But God is about to make your restoration a public display of His power. Those who pitied you will soon see you standing strong again. Those who mocked your fall will witness your rise. Because when God restores, He restores publicly. He restores in ways that silence the critics and glorify His name. That is why you must not fight to prove yourself. Let God do the proving. He is your vindicator, your restorer, your provider, your defender. Even your mistakes cannot stop God's restoration. Sometimes we lose things because of our own choices, our own missteps. But God is merciful. He does not hold your past against you. He uses it to push you forward. If you surrender to Him, He can even turn your failures into fuel for your destiny. The very thing that once brought you shame will become a story of redemption. God specializes in giving beauty for ashes, not by erasing the past, but by transforming it. You will not return to who you were. You will rise into who you were destined to be. And understand that this restoration is not always external first. It begins inside. God restores the mind before He restores the material. He restores your peace before He restores your position. Because if He restores outwardly before inwardly, you would not recognize the blessing when it arrives. So if you feel like nothing is happening, maybe God is working on the part of you no one else sees. Maybe He is restoring your spirit, removing fear, cleansing bitterness, healing the invisible wounds. Because when your soul is restored, everything else aligns. Sometimes what you thought was stolen was actually being safeguarded. God hides certain blessings until you are ready for them. You may think you lost an opportunity, but God was reserving it. You may think someone left you, but God was protecting you. What you lost was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to redirect you. You are not behind, you are being positioned. You are not empty, you are being prepared. You are not forgotten, you are being refined. Every loss has divine purpose attached to it. And now, after the fire, after the waiting, after the weeping, comes the moment of divine exchange. God is saying, you have endured enough. You have trusted through the storm. Now watch as I restore. He will restore the years that felt wasted. He will restore the time that seemed lost. He will restore the relationships that align with your destiny. He will restore your health, your strength, your joy, your confidence. Everything that was broken is about to be made whole again. But when it happens, you will know it was not luck, it was God. You may not understand how, but restoration does not require your understanding. It requires your belief. Faith opens the door for what reason cannot grasp. You cannot calculate God's restoration through logic. You can only receive it through surrender. So stop analyzing how it will happen and start believing that it will happen. God is not asking you to figure it out. He's asking you to trust Him. When your heart is anchored in faith, the impossible becomes inevitable. Do not let the weight of the past anchor you. The pain was real, but it was temporary. The loss was real, but it was not final. God is the author of restoration, and He never writes a story that ends in defeat. Your life is still unfolding, and the next chapter will astonish even you. Every loss was a comma, not a period. God paused the story to write something greater. What you thought was over is only just beginning. There comes a moment when the soul grows weary from the weight of waiting, when every prayer seems to echo unanswered, and every hope feels delayed beyond measure. But hear this truth: God is not slow. God is strategic. When you think He is silent, He's working with precision. What you call delay, He calls divine timing. Restoration is not rushed. It is orchestrated. It requires the right moment, the right conditions, the right readiness of your heart. And when those align, restoration does not trickle, it floods. It comes suddenly, overwhelmingly, undeniably. You will not have to chase it. It will chase you. You will not have to beg for it. It will find you. There are seasons when God hides you. You feel unseen, uncelebrated, unacknowledged. But that hiddenness is holy. It is not punishment, it is preservation. God hides you to heal you. He conceals you to complete you, because a premature exposure can destroy what has not yet matured. You think you are forgotten, but you are being fortified. You are in the secret workshop of God, and when He reveals you again, you will not look like what you have been through. You will shine with the mark of someone who has been refined by divine fire and molded by unseen hands. That is why restoration is never just a return. It is a revelation of who you have become through the waiting. When God restores, He restores with layers of meaning. He does not simply give you back things. He gives you back authority. You will not just have possessions, you will have peace. You will not just have opportunities, you will have wisdom. You will not just have people, you will have discernment. Because God never wants you to repeat the cycles that caused the loss in the first place. Restoration is not a recycling of the past. It is a resurrection of divine purpose. It is God saying, I am giving you another chance. But this time, you will see with clearer eyes. Some of you are in the middle of a quiet transformation. You are not where you used to be, but you are not yet where you are going. It feels like you are in between, stuck between the loss and the restoration. But do not despise this in-between season. It is sacred. It is where the foundation of restoration is being laid. In the silence, God is rebuilding your faith. In the waiting, He is aligning your destiny. In the stillness, He is teaching you to hear His whisper. And when He moves, you will realize that everything you thought was wasted time was actually divine preparation. Many people pray for restoration but resist the refining. Yet God will not restore what still carries the cracks of yesterday. He wants to fill the gaps in your heart before He fills your hands. He wants to purify your motives before He multiplies your blessings. He wants to restore your perspective before He restores your possessions. Because true restoration begins within. The outward change is only a reflection of the inward transformation. When your soul heals, your life begins to align. When your heart trusts, your blessings begin to flow. There is a hidden strength inside you that loss could not destroy. It was buried under pain, but it is still there. God is calling it forth. He is awakening your forgotten courage, reviving your silent dreams, and reigniting your divine fire. You are stronger than you realize. Every night you survived, every battle you endured, every disappointment you overcame, those were proofs of resilience. And now that same strength will carry you into restoration. You will not enter this next season as a victim, but as a vessel poured out, purified, and prepared for divine abundance. God's restoration often begins where human ability ends. When you can no longer fix it, that is when He steps in. When you stop trying to control the outcome, that is when He releases His power. Surrender invites restoration. When you let go of the need to understand, God fills the space with peace. When you stop holding on to what broke, He places in your hands what blesses. You cannot receive with a clenched fist. You must release in order to receive. You must trust that God's hands are gentler than your own. And when God restores, He will do it in a way that makes sense only in hindsight. You will look back and say, now I see why that had to happen. Because divine restoration always carries divine wisdom. The pain you endured taught you discernment. The rejection you faced taught you redirection. The silence you experienced taught you stillness. Every lesson was shaping your spiritual maturity, preparing you for the responsibility of what is coming. God will never give you something that your character cannot sustain. He restores when your maturity matches your destiny. You have not been forgotten. You have not been forsaken. You are being fashioned. There is a time appointed for everything under heaven, and your time is coming. The same God who restored peace after storms, light after darkness, and strength after weakness will do the same for you. Your tears have been recorded. Your faith has been tested. Your prayers have been heard. Nothing has gone unnoticed. And when God decides that your time has come, no obstacle can stand against it. But understand, this restoration is not always about recovering the same thing. Sometimes it is about receiving something better. You may have lost the people, but God will send those who nurture your growth. You may have lost a job, but He will open a path that aligns with your calling. You may have lost the confidence, but He will replace it with unshakable faith. Every area of loss carries a promise of divine compensation. God is too just to let you suffer in vain. Every tear sown in faith will return as a harvest of joy. Your restoration will not come through the hands of man. It will come through the command of God. He will touch hearts, open paths, and shift circumstances in your favor. People who once overlooked you will be moved to bless you without understanding why. Situations that once resisted, you will suddenly open with ease. You will walk into rooms that once rejected you and find your name being honored. That is what happens when God restores. He rearranges reality to favor His chosen ones. Do not measure your future by the fragments of your past. What is ahead of you is not dependent on what you lost. It is dependent on what God has decreed. And when God decrees restoration, it cannot be undone. He will restore the years that were consumed by pain, the seasons that were stolen by fear, and the dreams that were buried under disappointment. You will rise, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You belong to the God who restores. There are moments when restoration will feel like a chaos. Everything begins to move suddenly, doors opening, connections forming, blessings appearing out of nowhere. Do not be afraid of that divine turbulence. That is not confusion. That is reordering. When God restores, He shifts everything around you to align with His plan. What looks like instability is actually the rearranging of your destiny. So do not resist the movement. Flow with it. Trust that God knows what He is doing. You must prepare your heart to receive again. Restoration requires openness. It requires expectation. You cannot enter your new season with the mindset of your old one. The bitterness, the fear, the distrust, they must go. They are weights that prevent you from embracing what is next. God cannot fill a heart still holding resentment. He cannot restore to a mind still rehearsing old wounds. You must release the pain to make space for His promise. When you do, you will find that God has been waiting not to punish, but to pour out. And when He does, you will stand in awe. You will see doors open where walls once stood. You will see blessings flow where emptiness once reigned. You will see favor fall where rejection once lived. Your life will shift from mourning to dancing, from silence to singing, from scarcity to overflow. You will not just recover what you lost, you will rise to a level you never imagined. That is the nature of God's restoration. It always surpasses. Your story is not over. The ending you feared will become the beginning you celebrate. The emptiness you felt will become the evidence of how deeply God can feel. You will look back on this chapter and see it as the turning point, the sacred moment when loss became gain and pain became power. You will no longer live defined by what was taken, but by what was returned. For when God restores, He restores with glory, and His glory never fades.